We're live. This is the committee of conference on page 83, the FY 2025 budget. And we are going to see if we can close out a few more sections this morning, and then maybe continue to do some more work. We're coming back at 12:45. We're gonna have to be on the floor at 1, so it'll be fairly quick, and then we will reconvene this afternoon. I believe at 3:30. Yeah. No, I love it long. All right.
So, good morning.
Good morning. So,
We have a smaller thing to talk about, at least from our side. We've had, since we've talked, there's been a lot of conversations with House Education and between Representative Mahali, Representative Shai have been taking a look at it, having some discussions with Senator Westman, and that is continuing to happen. So I don't think that any of that is ready for the table. But I think there's a couple of things on the education piece that Representative Shai can bring in. We're not ready to talk about the technical letter yet. JFO didn't get a chance to take a look at that last night. And we've got some other work to do on some bigger packaging. We're starting to get into that piece of like some of the pieces in I could call it the gray out sheet. That it isn't so much that we're not for, some of them maybe we're looking for a little bit more information. Or timing around where and how are we going to, that's another conversation between fitting revenue in with some of the boxes. So we've got to do some next level thinking about that. So that's where we are, but I think we can cross off a few, yeah, go ahead.
One,
Or at least, yeah.
which is line 46, which is restoring the 100,000 for the CTA education programs coordinator position.
Well, we'll see about this.
So that is good. The House Ed is taking up the literacy position, which is the next line. We're not ready to close that yet. Their recommendation, as I understand it, is going to be making it a permanent classified position, and I think the Senate's version was to extend a limited service position. So it's a change in the position because we want to coordinator.
it seems like it's an area that needs some attention.
It
Our
does.
third graders are reading at grade level.
Right. So they're expecting to vote that out today, and when they have that, then we'll make sure that I guess it would be E100 would have a permanent classified position. And then we'll give it the go ahead, but that'll be later this afternoon, that what happens. And then Rep Mahali and I and Senator Westman will finalize the language for the adult ed. We have draft language for that, which Senator Westman has, so we'll go over that and have that. I'm not sure what to do about this community schools. I think we need to look at that just because I understand that Senate Education yesterday voted out 630, which is the BOCES one, and put community schools in there.
Mhm.
And so that will probably go to Senate Finance because it's education fund and they'll come to you. So once that's all done, then we can close that out. But I would think we would wait till that's done before we close that. So that's line 48.
Line 48. I guess the fundamental question is, do we really, even though that other bill is funding community schools?
Yes.
What we're saying is, we wanted to
To
make
restore the early
Yeah.
college.
that would be independent of what happens.
That's right.
Right,
You're
you're
correct.
correct, yeah.
And so to me,
So then I think in that case, because the community schools is
a separate issue.
a separate issue, we could do that.
And,
So if you guys are okay, I'm okay with closing
Yeah,
it.
we just
On
know
that.
that's the part that we're.
Yeah,
that's the
so
part that we're
they're
hung up on.
proposing, Senate Ed is proposing, as we had, that the community schools and the BOCES come out of the ed fund, so.
and we just didn't want it to come out.
A early college, you didn't want to have early college.
And I think, okay, so we can,
48.
and we'll confirm,
On
but my
48.
understanding is that that's what's happening.
Right, so those are
Right.
coming out of the ed fund, but in that bill, so hopefully that will continue on its way, because we definitely want those two
But we
items.
just, we'll keep an eye on this.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're gonna share our highlighter, sorry. Or you're sharing the highlighter, because
I had to do it yesterday, so.
every single time I come to,
I had purple and green.
Senate, I seem to steal your highlighters.
Okay.
And now I didn't even bring any back. Yeah.
So it's not like they're taking them home for personal use, I'm.
I buy my own. I buy my own.
I do,
I
because I
have so
like the
many
quicker
extras at
ones.
home.
All right, yeah, so I don't think we don't have anything formally beyond that right now. We're formulating a lot of ideas on the sidelines here, but not
Maybe I could just share a little bit.
Yeah.
Why we ended up in a little different place, than we did. Obviously, the issue around, the, base funding for childcare is something that we, looked at pretty carefully. And, when that bill, interestingly enough, ended up on a, workers' comp bill, with interesting turn of events. That was back when Stephanie Barrett was, a joint fiscal, and so how we, set the property at the tax rate.
yeah.
And the assumptions, and we knew that we were being very conservative in how we were, doing those calculations. And so, what seemed to be a big concern, and you will notice that we, in the budget, deleted the language on the childcare that said to the extent funds are available. And so, our conclusion was that, that we could, make that adjustment on that base. And it was very clear, if in fact, the administration is wrong, it's a more modest amount, and, that they would have to figure out how to do it, because it basically, when we passed that, made that program really entitled program. So that's why the, language that you're saying related is the connection between those two discussions. So I followed up again, with Stephanie, and, I know John Fiskal's taken a hard look, and Jones Manchester was part of it. So we ended up feeling, I was very concerned about, the assumptions that we used, and the impact it might have, but, feeling that it is an entitlement program that's then morphed into it, the estimates and what we're doing were conservative, and so, at this point felt that there could be a modest reduction in base. So I'm just giving you.
That's really
some background on it.
So they all felt that there would be sufficient money as an entitlement, and then we wouldn't suddenly get
Yes.
another 10 million or 20 million of people saying that they qualify and us having to pay out.
Yeah. That's my, that is my understanding and my recollection when Stephanie and I were working on,
It is so it's so new and yet so old at
so.
the same time, but like, we're not sure, none of us are really sure.
We don't know how it's happening.
We're not maybe there. I know
Well,
that
I just wanted to share with you.
Yeah.
And I did have a follow-up discussion.
Mhm.
And Joint Fiscal has looked at it pretty carefully.
Okay.
But I know people were
Yes,
concerned
I
about that old
Yes.
language that was in there, and so you'll notice that was struck.
We did.
Yeah, we did.
So, so it wasn't really old language, it was language that was intended to be there, because we weren't, at least when the House passed the bill, weren't intending for it to be an entitlement program. So I think question for me is, the program is still rolling out, so April 1 or 15, there was, an additional, and then there's more changes planned in October. So I guess the question is the Senate position that the childcare contribution, when it's fully rolled out, is going to be sufficient to withstand that demand without increasing it?
It's my understanding that was looked at in terms of rolling out and what that long-term experience is going to be. Because obviously by making one, it's not the one time, and but it's against a fairly large base. So that would be the answer. In no way will we making it would compromise any of those provisions in terms of the rollout and the the benefit structure.
So maybe we need to sit down with the people, JFO that have come to that conclusion and help us to get there as well.
That's what I just wanted to share.
Yeah, so we'll plan an opportunity to, because they have such abundant time.
I know everybody would like to give me one time, that's for sure.
Yes.
Okay, and, then we can let you go back unless there's anything further here.
Can I ask a question on on one of the 3% calculations? I just, was wanting to, you might recall this year we had to do something in, budget adjustment because we had left out that group of services. I just wanted to make sure that the entire group of services in long-term care were included in that 3% calculation.
That I was, and, I have a list here. So,
Oh, good. Thanks, Chair. Great. Can we just make a copy of it and give that back to you?
Okay.
and enhanced res care got left out entirely last year, and you can see, we did include the RC.
Yes,
Okay, oh, so we'll get a copy.
We'll get a copy of that.
That'd be good. And also one thing on flexible pathways on line 144, that's the language restoring the $1 million to early college. So we need to put, if we're gonna give them $1 million, we need to close out the language section too, which is line 144, 5E 504.1.
Here,
Yep.
yeah, you should, you're having.
You may. Look, Hannah gave us another one because she saw that we were.
Share, right?
Thank you. Share, well, we just all want to highlight at the same time.
Actually, we're passing notes.
So line 144, it's E 504.1.
That becomes. Yeah, well, so, okay, sort of like your headways.
I'm right here. Right there.
Okay, we can use the same form this afternoon if we have.
Yeah, I would have my,
Too much.
I don't think we need to,
I still keep my master.
use
I'm
more.
using that language for this first one.
But I'm just using this one.
Mhm.
So I think that. So we have both sides of that, and I like Thursday on this other, but I don't think so.
So you have floor today, is that one?
One and one.
So we'll meet for 15 minutes at
So we have lunch tonight
12:45.
and then we'll be here.
Well, we've got more language coming from different places.
Well, I think we're, yes, all right, and we'll process on camera, but,
And tomorrow is now a media, the caucus of the whole, it's called 30. But I know it's moving on this meeting for half an hour.
it's 12:30.
That's 12:30.
The
Yeah.
process of the whole,
To talk about the Housing Act 260.
Yeah, they need to go through it section by section.
oh, I see.
But
We had 12 o'clock.
No, we had 1 o'clock tomorrow.
Oh, yeah, but we crossed it
Tomorrow,
off
yeah.
yesterday and then Thursday was noon and.
Yeah,
according to the printout, it's new.
Okay.
So it'll only be half an hour then at 4, I don't know.
and we
That's enough
move
time.
it back.
Should we do
11:30.
I know that you're.
Yeah, I'm not gonna be here,
Here.
but, you can.
We could
do the
still
things
go.
that not-
And are you, but you're
I'm
here,
here.
you're here
I'm
now here this afternoon, so you wanna go to 11:30?
Well, if we can.
Okay, I
That might be.
think that works, we'll see what we've got, I think we're getting down there with,
We have more bills, let me just see, we can range. So
Yeah, maybe we don't need to change that. I thought it was okay.
so I
not
not
be
be
bad
10
to do
in the
that.
morning tomorrow morning, cause I knew that's a big bill, and today. At the GMB bill at 2, cause we're getting that today, get that back out again.
Tomorrow is
Okay, so we're
Thursday.
just getting- I thought it was on the floor.
Yeah, but they're gonna send it, at
Oh.
1 o'clock, they're gonna send it to us.
We have three,
to-
we have
close,
3:10
then
at 9:30 tomorrow. 9:30 is we have 3:10, so 11:30 would work.
Yeah.
11:30 to 12:30 then.
So we're balancing just like you to make sure that we get the bills that need to get done by Friday.
And
And we got the pay act, so we're gonna try to get the pay act out maybe
as
this
a
afternoon.
bill,
It's 889. And then
that you.
we don't know where that's gonna land.
Yeah.
I mean, it'll land over in here. Well,
Yeah, and we have 195, 259.
Well, I guess in terms of the revenue box,
It's
what you have is
lower.
what,
Yeah,
that's what the Senate has put out as revenue box. So, that's what we're working with, it hopefully comforts the budget here,
right.
so.
I'm trying to figure
Yeah.
that piece out at the same time. We got a lot of balancing acts that needs to all land
together.
by Friday or by Monday. So sometimes we're waiting for like which other shoe's gonna fall first.
All right.
Okay.
So, I guess then at this point, we will just adjourn,
Until,
until, 12:45. And if you're not ready, we'll
we'll
just,
just.
we'll just wait
Okay,
until later, so
12:45.
just send a signal.
Would it be helpful, JFO could do, we'll bring a one-time sheet so that you can start looking at that maybe for
Yeah, I think there's some one-time
later
things.
this afternoon. And then we'll try to get through the technical letter this morning, and if there are any, I think a lot of it is pretty straightforward.
It's
Pretty straightforward.
That might be something, could we do it at 12:45?
That's what I'm thinking.
And yeah, I think maybe we could do
Get
that
that in.
and get that
Just get
going.
that
right.
And
Yeah,
then
that would be
take
great.
some time.
That would
And then
be
we
the
can
entire
look at the
agenda for that.
one
Yeah.
times.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna ask you about like the new one-time sheet